And we're broadcasting. So, hello, welcome. It's a nice night for where I am. Yes. I hope you're all well, whether you're watching this live or archived. And yes, I still need to start Trainz. Here we go. Yes. Okay. Trainz. There we go. And started. I will switch over once it's loaded. Yes, it's still loading the root in the background. Yes, hey Mr. W, how are you? Doing good? Right. It's nice and cozy today, isn't it? Still loading in the background. Okay, it's here. I'll quickly switch over. There we go. Let's see if it actually switches. And yes, it has. So, this is a train which Slovak Eagle recommended to me. This is the, I think it is the, what was it called? The Yankee Zephyr, I think it's called. Yes. Oh no, the Flying Yankee. It's a Zephyr train. It's very shiny, and in this case, it's supposed to be this shiny. Yes, it's got a lovely observation area in the back. And I'll probably use this for some sessions when the route's finished. But for now, I'll just leave it down here. Yeah, just so it won't get in the way. Make sure I'll switch the layer. And let's go over to the area where we've been working on last time. Right. So last time, I had just finished... Oops. I just finished painting the rock texture along here. Yeah, not too bad. It's a nice night, yeah. Discovered a random thing that you might be interested in. On YouTube, there is a D&D program running, being played by members of AEW. AEW is a professional wrestling company. Oh, did not know that. Yeah, might be interesting. That train looks so slick. Yes, it does. It does. That train is from, I think it's either the 50s or 60s, maybe late 50s, I'm not sure, I'd need to look it up, but it's that era where streamlined trains were really starting to be produced a lot, especially in the US. I mean, in the US a lot, where you get the F7s and or E8s, those streamlined locomotives, because, well, they were competing with road traffic, so they tried to make the locomotives, and through that the railways, seem more modern, more futuristic, so they decided to make their trains look futuristic and streamlined. Alright, that sound in the background was just copy finishing. Yeah, so it's an interesting time. There's actually a song someone wrote about the streamliners. I'll actually, okay, tell you what, I'll quickly see if I can find that song, and I'll post a link to it in chat if you want to listen to it. Let's see. Okay, I actually need to listen to it on this microphone, not microphone, the opposite, headphone. Ah, yeah, that's the one, that is the one. Okay, so there, that is that song. Right. Two things you don't really expect to clash: D&D and professional wrestling. I mean, well, if you look at how some D&D games go, maybe not that different things. Also, the train looks a bit like a transformer. Oh, really? I'll have to have another look at it. Okay, I'm starting to think that you mean transformer as in the characters, not the actual electrical transformer. In which case you're right. It does look a bit like that. Okay. Oh, by the way, if you want to listen to that song, feel free to mute the stream temporarily. Yeah, just so that I'm not in the way of you listening to it. Right. I'm just going to put down the grass, the forest texture over here, just around the borders, and then I'm going to use the paste, the bulk acid replace tool to change the colors. Aside from a monk style character, also I guess professional wrestling and D&D both have exaggerated characters. Yeah, you're right. And yes, I did mean that kind of transformer. Going to listen to it now. Great. Tell me what you think, if you haven't already muted. Also, for the rest of you who aren't muted at the moment, how have you been? Doing good, I hope. Let me just see if somebody snuck into the stream, like maybe a certain Swedar Gaming, because he has a tendency to do that, to go into the stream without me noticing. No, not at the moment, as far as the list shows anyway. Yeah, right. And let's save, because I don't want to risk anything unnecessarily. And we've got some more viewers without accounts, so hello, whoever you are. You're, of course, also welcome. Sounds like a song from a film about trains, maybe a film documentary about the advancement of the railways, and as the song plays, you see the slow evolution of trains through the ages. Perhaps. Although I think that the video to the song was cut in by the person who uploaded it. I don't think that song originally had that. Did you see my other messages? The last one I saw was that you were starting to listen to the song. I reloaded the page, so I may not have received them, because I can only see what is in the chat from when the page was loaded. So, maybe, I don't know. because I know that it sounds like it's maybe from a documentary, but there are actually a lot of railway songs that are quite like in that sort of similar to that style, just about railways in general or certain trains perhaps, and they're just normal songs like any other song as well. So it might just be that. The ones about the monk characters and the similarities between D&D and professional wrestling. Yes, I did see those, and oh right, actually no, because yeah, I did respond to those. I did read them out loud. Yes, I think that there are similarities, because from what I know, I don't really follow wrestling that much. Oh, I need to replace that, sorry. I don't really, I say that much at all, is what I mean. Right, but you were muted. The thing is, I only responded to those after I saw them. Oh, right, because you're on a delay, so it showed up. Oh, right, I see. Right, yeah, so I don't follow wrestling at all, or any other sports for that matter. But from what I know, it does seem like there are similarities. That's probably the most honest way of putting it. Right, so this is how I'm going to replace the textures. So, like this, and you can see it only replaced the texture underneath it, which is why it's okay to have painted the rocks in beforehand. Right. Yeah, you don't play violent games. I sincerely doubt that you would watch any form of violent sport, even if it was pretend. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't. At least not without a really, really good reason for it. Like if, for example, if I was writing a script maybe, and it had parts of it were about wrestling or any other sport like that, or maybe boxing. Like, you know how older TV shows tend to have a boxing episode? Like, if I was writing something like that, then yeah, I'd probably do some research on it, which would probably include watching some matches. But yeah, as entertainment, I really don't find it that entertaining. But that's just me. Yeah. But about the song, did you enjoy it? Because I know that you said some comments about it, but you didn't actually write whether you liked it or not. Yeah, you'd watch it for research. I actually have an idea for a book that includes professional wrestling. Oh, right. How much do you want to tell me about that book? I mean, this is public after all, so whatever you write in here will of course be seen by the people watching the stream here and archived. So if you don't want to give away anything to your fans, I can understand. It's a catchy song, yeah. Any idea when it was written or by who? I'm not sure. I can look it up. Let's see. This is the song. So it's by James Bryan. James Bryan Coffey. So here you can see. Don't mind the ads. Got the lyrics here. Let's see. Is there? Where does it say? It should say some. Well, the first date this was available was 2007. I'm not sure if that is Maybe I'm missing something obvious. But here, on this page, it says it's from 2004. Not sure if that was when it was written, but might be a... Oh no, it was released in 1994. Here we go. Streamline is a song, or maybe this is a wrong song. I have no idea. No, this is Streamline, not Streamliners. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, you'd need to do a bit more research on that, but I honestly don't know. I haven't even started the book yet, and I've not got any fans. I've not published a journey yet. Oh, right. Well, you've got one fan. Right. So. Oh, right, I closed that window. I didn't mean to close it. It's going to center around a fan of professional wrestling? Oh, right. It's going to center around a fan of professional wrestling, and they meet their favorite wrestler in a coffee shop. I'm really interested in writing a style of wrestling announcers. Oh, I see. I'll look it up on my own when I can. Thanks a lot, though. No problem. Well, technically, since I didn't find the solution, it was a bit of a problem, but you know what I mean. Right, so I do need to touch it up some manually a bit down there, and obviously need to fill in more in this area. You know, I once listened to a very interesting talk by Lindy Beige. It's a YouTube channel. And he compared the modern day boxing and wrestling sports to the gladiator games of Rome, and how the popular image of gladiators is a bit of a misconception, because the people who owned the gladiators would have invested a lot of money in them, and there were they had fan bases, the individual gladiators, like boxers do, and there were bets on who would win and things like that. And if you spend that much money on publicity to advertise your gladiators, if they were killed the first game they went into, then that wouldn't be very profitable. I think it's over an hour long, but it's very interesting. And yeah. Also, I think he mentioned one thing which I already knew from beforehand, but did you know that the Colosseum in Rome could actually be filled with water, where they reenacted battles that were fought somewhere in one of Rome's conquests? Yeah. They even had these platforms that could be raised and lowered, these little blocks in the floor of the Colosseum. It's actually very interesting. I suggest you have a look at that if you're at all interested in that sort of thing. No one else has joined yet, aside from the 2 bots. As for the books, I'm really trying to focus on writing 1 book at a time. Yes, that's probably a good way of approaching it. Was it professional wrestling or things like sumo wrestling? Because it's a big difference. Now, in the things he compared to the gladiator games was mostly boxing, but I think that wrestling may have also been mentioned by him. But it was mostly boxing. Wow, that can't have been that can't have been nice for gladiators, being bet on like animals. And yes, I did know about the water. I learned it from Cressida Cowell. What was the documentary called? And was it Lindy Beige? So the thing is that well, according to him and some other sources what I've read, there have been a lot of historical accounts of Romans or people in the Roman Empire, or well, Republic, I guess, actually voluntarily becoming gladiators, because that meant that because they actually did get paid quite a lot, and that money they could keep once their contract ended, so once they were no longer slaves. So a lot of people voluntarily went into slavery as a gladiator to earn money that way. Which would also indicate that those gladiatorial games would also have been rigged a lot of the time. The second thing is, yeah, that's interesting, really interesting about the water. Not a lot of people know about that. And yeah, it's not a documentary, it's more of a talk, in a way, a conversation perhaps. And yes, it was Lindy Beige. I can post the link if you want. There you go. That's the link. Hey Slovak. Hi. Can't stay too long as me and Brandon decided to play hide and seek in Mudrunner. Oh wow. Yeah, I can imagine how that would take some time. Although Slovak, oh, where is it? Oh, it's not here anymore. There is a song which might interest you. It's about Trainz. I did post it in chat a bit earlier, but you wouldn't have seen it. So this one, it's about the streamliners. Might want to listen to it sometime if you want. I need to have you muted because I need to hear him coming. Yeah, sure, that's fine. That's fine. Hey Slovak, did you get around to looking at that Drivers in San Francisco Back to the Future Easter egg? Well, that's a question which I cannot answer. Right. Also, I do want to raise this little area up a bit here, because at the moment it looks like this would actually be underwater. So maybe just a little bit like that. I did, yeah. Okay, good. Right. So I think I'll do the forest texture, put the forest texture down on the right side of the valley before I put down the forest on the left, simply because it means it's less laggy while I do it. And did you find it interesting? It's a nice Easter egg. Okay, good. Right. I like it. Too bad I never found it while I was playing the game. Okay. And I am going to do this a bit roughly at the moment, and then I'm going to go back in with a brush and fix some of the finer areas. Well, start playing it again then. Never mind about completing the game. Make unlocking the Easter egg goal your goal. Oh, right, I see. Feels a bit weird reading out those messages that aren't that are addressed to a specific person in chat. But I know that in the archive, because the text is white, it can sometimes not show up. So if someone wants to watch the archive, it can literally be impossible to read the text sometimes, which is why I do tend to read them out. Also, Sharadice, another fact about professional wrestling that I only found out recently, 60 to 70% of Indians who watch professional wrestling believe that it's real. Oh, wow. Where did you learn that from? Where'd you get that figure? I would if I still had my Uplay account. Oh, I see. Did you lose the password in your accident with a computer, or do you just not have it anymore? Yeah, it must sometimes feel you're listening in on other people's conversations. Yeah, it does a bit. But the thing is, it's public anyway, because, well, it's it's the public stream chat, which everybody can see who's watching this live or indeed archived. So it's not. It just feels more like what I'm actually doing when I'm reading it out, even though it doesn't really make a difference. Well, unless you can't really see it on stream when it's archived. I'm listening for Truck Engine right now. I'm hiding from Branded. Oh wow. Yeah, that's funny. Must be actually. Is it daytime or nighttime, Slovak? If you've not got me muted yet, because I think that would make a big difference to how scary that is. I'm imagining it like it's nighttime. I'll look it up properly, but so far it's only been on a YouTube comment on a video about the unbelievable, as in not believable or convincing at all. Rise of Jinder, is it Jinder Mahal or Hinder Mahal? I don't know how to pronounce it, in WWE. Oh, I see. Yeah. And I think that is why it's important to give your sources, because because the thing is, you just made that claim as though it were fact, whereas in reality you only saw some guy on YouTube put it in as a comment. Because given that information, I now consider that a lot less fact than if you had just said it like you did before. So I think that's why it's important to give your sources, basically. It's a good example for it, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, I know it's not that serious what we're talking about at the moment, but some other topics are, and in most of those topics the sources aren't given. Well, a lot of them aren't given. Anyway, don't really want to go into that at the moment. I'm talking about jobber, basically used to make the stars look good by being destroyed by them. Oh, right, I see. From WWE champion, and just pretended he had been a main eventer for years. Oh, right. Oh, yes, right, I see what you mean. Well, I think that professional wrestling has only become popular very recently in India, so yeah, it could make. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm just saying that it changes the perspective with which you look at the given statement. Yeah. Like in the last 5 years. Oh, right, before that. I meant to the champion rather than from. Yeah, I thought you meant that. Like in the last 5 years. To be honest with you, I have no idea. Yeah, I just have no idea about that. Well, I revealed my position by accident, so I gotta go. Oh wow, what happened? Did you accidentally press the horn? Or turn on the lights? What happened? I bet it's a really exciting chase scene now in Mud Runner. It's a great series about how a guy would book certain storylines because he's a smart arse. Yes, I know what, yeah. Alright, that. See you, Slovak. Happy hunting / hiding. Yes. Right, happy hunting / hiding. Indeed. Right, I need to concentrate a bit on what I'm doing at the moment. What is Mud Runner, by the way? Mud Runner is basically a truck driving simulator where instead of driving on roads, you crawl your way through mud and water, which is it's got realistically simulated mud physics, so you actually do sink in and become stuck, and you've got winches and that sort of thing, which you need to pull yourself through this mud. Yeah, basically it's what it says on the tin. Only not running, but rather crawling. I presume it's not meant to be a hide-and-seek game? No. A trucking game, yes, that's true. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it is fun for me, it is moderate fun, because, well, it takes a long time to get anywhere, so progress does feel quite slow if you're trying to get anywhere, but it can also feel quite rewarding when you get somewhere that was difficult to get to. Also, well, you're driving through the middle of a forest, so yeah, nature is in your way quite a lot, which means that you proceed through nature, often destroying quite a bit of it as you're driving through it. But yeah, other than that, yes, it is quite a bit of fun. Well, unless you're playing it all of the time. Mud Runner sounds like an insult. Oh, Mud Trucker sounds like an insult. Right, I see, yes. You're right. Moderate fun. Yes, well, that is the best way I can describe the amount of fun that it has been for me. Not saying that it would be the same for you or anybody else. Just for me. Yes, I know, moderate fun. It does sound like the kind of thing that I might say. Well, I did say it, so clearly. Yeah. And just save quickly. I did once hear someone say, flat out, that I don't like fun. Oh, right. Wait, so you heard someone say, I don't like fun? Well, I guess that they probably meant a specific thing that other people see as fun. Like, for example, I don't know, maybe parties or raves or something like that, or maybe obnoxiously loud music, which other people say fun. Yeah, that's fun. That kind of thing, like wild, more like that. And that may be what they were referring to. I mean, from what you said, to be honest, but I don't know the context of that, so I really don't know. Yeah, they did clarify that it was organized fun, but the fact that he had to clarify it. Yeah, I mean, don't really know what to say to that. Actually, I do know what to say to that. Probably poor sentence construction in the first place, which is why it needed clarification. So that is the thing that I have to say to that. Not that you asked, but yeah. Also, I do need to still put in the retaining wall back there, which I'll probably do as soon as I've finished painting the forest textures here. And no, he was moaning about how people are already telling him what he's doing on half the year. Well, I need to read that again. No, he was moaning about how people are already telling him what he's doing on half the year. Oh, right, like that. Referring to things like Christmas. Oh, right, I see, yes. Oh, right, so organized fun, as in get-togethers that he's supposed to go to, like his birthday or Christmas or those sort of things in that case, is probably what you mean that he meant. And yeah, I can see that. I don't really do celebrations that much, so yeah. It was on a podcast that was put up a while ago, which brings me on to my next point. Did you get around to look at the podcast? No, not yet. Although I have got the link, I've got the email still as unread. I will do that. It's just that in the last few days I've been working on making the trailer for one of my Trainz routes, which will be released soon. So I had to do a lot of recording, and then today I've started making the music for it, and I can't really listen to the podcast while I'm doing that. But yes, it's definitely on my to-do list. Yes, and he said that he only celebrates Christmas because everyone else does. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people do. I just hope the link works. Yes, the link did work. I did check. Yeah, the link does work. Right. Just quickly save again. Okay. Actually, I'll just quickly look into the members and chat view. Alright, users in chat. I'll also quickly reload. And yes, still like it was before. That's good. Okay. Although I do think we've got one viewer who hasn't got an account at the moment, so in case you're new, hello, welcome. The sounds of the clicking are oddly relaxing. Never really thought about it that way, but yes, you're right. I can even move the microphone a bit closer, like this, and then you can really hear the clicking. Not sure if it's too loud now. Hey, viewer with no account. Yes, indeed. You can also hear the keyboard probably. Oh right, I didn't actually... I'm actually going to move it a bit closer now again, so just so that it's easier to talk. Shall I tease them? Ask them questions that they won't be able to answer? No, come on, don't do that. I know it's a joke, but yeah, that's just well, a tease. Right. Yeah, and I did realize I didn't delete all the trees on the rocks here apparently. So I just quickly did that. I got the power! Yes, you do. Okay, right, this bit still. Okay. Oh, right, I was thinking about what you said previously, and I just realized about the story you wrote, A Journey. So that is the title that you settled on then, A Journey. I've recently come up with a way to link A Journey with a few other fantasy books that are going to take place in the same universe. Oh, that sounds really exciting. I love a connected universe. Because it just opens up so many possibilities. Oh, they can think, oh, that thing, oh, right, I could put this little piece of information here, like maybe find them finding a scroll talking of king of a far-off kingdom who had slain serpents or something like that. And then one of the other books, that's actually the character that the main characters meet. And it could be completely disconnected, but just these little hints that connect the thing. Yeah, A Journey. I thought I told you by email. Yes, you did, but maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, or maybe I misunderstood. but I thought you were still searching for a name. Because while a journey does fit, and it doesn't sound as clunky as a journey to Elrond Cave, it does sound a bit generic. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, Brandon caught me. He wanted to seek again. This is very fun. Oh, yeah. Well, I can imagine. I was inspired to do it by your games all being linked. Oh, right. Well, thanks for telling me that. Makes me feel special. I'm glad I could inspire you. I have to say that texture work along the road is amazing. Oh, right. Well, thanks a lot. Yeah. It's all possible only because of the 5-meter grid size, after all. I also like how the trees between the road and... I also like... Alright, the cliff. Road and cliff. Looks really nice. Thanks. Yes, I really like it as well. And the one I'm working on now is Blade of the Ancients. Oh, yes. You're giving away my secrets. I know it's a bit generic, but that's kind of the point. The ambiguity, the potential to be taken as a metaphor. That does look really good, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it is... I think... I know what you're going for, and ambiguity is definitely a good tool, but if it's ambiguous to the point where people don't really get a feel for what the thing is, then it can be detrimental, I think. Because, for example... Okay, imagine it's a film, yeah? A film that's called A Journey. Well, it's obviously about a journey to somewhere, and it is ambiguous, so it could be a religious film, where it's a spiritual journey, where the people are maybe... where they're maybe traveling to a holy site. There's a word for that, I forget what it is. What's the word? Pilgrimage, yes. Where maybe they go on a pilgrimage, and that is the journey, that could be the thing. On the other hand, it could be a space thriller, where it's a journey from a crashed ship that's on a planet where they're trying to journey to an outpost across a desert. It could be a sci-fi film like that. And the two are very, very different feeling, so... If it's that ambiguous, I mean, it doesn't even make it clear that it's a fantasy story, after all. I think... Exactly. It's not only about the physical journey, but the emotional journey that, insert main character name here, and others take. Yes, and I mean, that is great. And a thing that can be a name that can work in those two ways would be perfect. But I think that just a journey kind of, I mean, in my opinion, is a bit too ambiguous to really even get across what the person who's looking at the book in a shelf, for example, if it's a hardcover book, is even supposed to feel or expect. I mean, why should that person then take the book out of the shelf and read what it's about? I mean, if it's just a journey, it could be that they don't know what to expect from it and just skip over to the next book. But if it were something like... oh, let's see. It's really difficult to come up with names like that, I think, because I was thinking maybe a journey to the Cave of Origins, or a journey to the fabled cave, or something like that. But that just sounds generic in a bad way, like saying, oh, another one like that. I mean, maybe a journey is fine, and I'm just reading too much into it. Don't bring up crashed ships again. Oh, come on, it was fun, wasn't it? I mean, of course it was fun for me. But it was fun for you too, I think. Because, I mean, you were laughing for quite a bit of that. I want to put in the retaining wall here. That's kind of what blurbs are for. Yes, you're right. You're right. I'm just a bit worried that with the attention span that a lot of people in the nowadays have, they might skip over the book if they can't picture anything from the title itself and they need to do more research into what the book is, like reading a blurb. But then that could just be, I could just be mistaken and everything would be fine. This is the most upper class argument I've ever been in. Then how did Heidi become so popular? A few of, oh, how do you pronounce it? Parchettes works are one-word titles, such as Snuff. Yeah, I mean, that sounds unique. Like, oh, where was it? Like Heidi, the name Heidi. To me, it conjures up names or it conjures up thoughts of Bavaria, maybe, or so Germany. Because after all, I think it is a German name, and then you think maybe it has to do something with the Alps or something like that, and then you start imagining things like that. But a journey doesn't sound unique. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. I think because the thing is, your book, the story you wrote, is really good. I really, really did enjoy reading it, and it would be a shame if somebody thought that it wasn't unique simply because the name doesn't sound that unique. I guess that's the best way of putting it. Yeah, I did find it fun, but not as fun as when the second in command got stuck in the bathroom. Yes. By the way, Slovak, in case you're wondering what we're talking about a role-playing game that we're playing, like a tabletop role-playing game. Star Trek one. I would try using X-Beton embankment there. Oh, right. And then cover the concrete side with a brick wall. There is grey ballast X-Beton wall like that. My phone is running out of battery and I cannot alt-tab. So thanks for the stream. It looks amazing so far. Keep up the good work. I will see you next time. Bye. Well, bye, Slovak. Hope you have a nice time playing hide and seek. Not read Snuff, so I don't know what it's about. Isn't snuff a word for people dying? Like, to snuff out, to eliminate, to basically kill? Yes, but I would say that only a few people know that Heidi is German in origin. I'll give you that. It does sound quite normal. See you, Slovak. I'll probably finish Blade first, then maybe think about changing the titles. Yeah, sure, sure. I mean, once you've finished some of Blade, once you're at the point that you'd like to share, then I'd be happy to read it. I mean, yeah, if you want. Right, now I'll just quickly save it. Right, and I do want to see what Slovak meant. Maybe this one. Yes, and I think snuff is also the name of an old drug. Could be. Well, I think that, yes, I think it is like slang for a drug. I'm not sure if it's the actual name of it. I've been playing Mirror's Edge recently and was inspired by that to make notes. Wait, what? And was inspired by that to make notes and start at some point an urban parkour book, City Swingers. Right. Yeah, sounds interesting. Although I think Swingers does also have a different meaning that you may want to look up before naming your book that. But yeah, it sounds like you could tell some really good stories in that setting. And yes, this gravel texture definitely does fit better here. It's really annoying because I have so many ideas and I'm determined to keep to one at a time. I know exactly how you feel, Mr. W. Yeah, I too am quite prone to get a lot of ideas. I mean, I've got all sorts of notebooks here. Like, for example, I've got this notebook here, and you can see, sorry, on this side, yeah, you can see here all the different ideas that I've written down here, in addition to all the other papers I have on my desk, like here, for example, and also another little stack over there. And then that's only the physical notes I've got. I've got quite a few documents as well on my computer with so many projects, and yeah, it's really, really difficult to stay on one specific project, especially when the new projects are also shiny and exciting and you're constantly getting new ideas. Even when you're not trying to think about it, you're constantly thinking, oh, right, oh, I could do this way, and that might work that way, and then I could do this, and oh, this is very exciting, I wish I could do that. And yeah, I know exactly how you feel. Yeah, I think swingers are unfaithful married people, but city swingers is a sort of pun on city slickers, which I'll probably look up when I get the chance. Right, yeah. Yes, about, yeah, the swingers, yes. Yeah. Okay. This is a bit difficult to get exactly right. Maybe if I move it down just a little bit. Or hey, maybe I could place some shrubs there. I'll just actually undo it. Right, which actually does mean that I can move this over here a bit. And then if I move this vertex up, sort of like this, then this side will be filled in, so all the way to the road. Which means that I'm free to put in shrubs here whenever I like. But first I'm going to need a bit more of that gravel. Oh yeah, what tends to happen with me is that I'm laying in bed, and because I'm not doing anything else, my mind can't help but roam. So I have an idea and I get up and put it down. I go back and 5 minutes later I get another one, usually about the same book/subject, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you feel like, which is why when that happens to me, I've actually accumulated quite a bit of practice because of that, in not thinking about anything, in keeping my mind blank, and it's not easy to do. But yes, if you consciously try to keep your mind blank, then that does help with that. But it's not that easy. Right, so I think I'll actually place some shrubs down now, just so you can actually see what this little area will look like when it's finished. And I will need to put these up individually. Or I guess in the case of this group, I'll have to put the group up individually. And I do know that I'll need more than just a few shrubs to cover up this little gap there. Would you mind if I emailed you one of my unfinished works if I get the chance? I don't really know what genre it classes as, and I'd like your input. No, of course I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I'd like that. Yes, please do send it. Although I might need a bit of time to get back to you on that, because at the moment, as I said before, I am in the process of releasing my first Trainz route as payware, and yeah, it is quite a lot of work at the moment, so I might need a bit of time to get back to you on that. But yes, I would happily read it. Yes. Actually, maybe it would look better if these were a bit lower, so that it's just kind of covering up the edge like that. Because that's really what I want to cover up. I don't really want the, oh, what do you call it on a shrub? Like the oh, what's it called? Can't believe I've forgotten this. The thing where it comes out of the ground, not the stump. That's if it's cut the... What do you call it? Anyway, the thing that the the branches come out of, the trunk. That's it, trunk. Because it's so similar to stump, I thought they were the same word that I was looking for, but yeah, trunk. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, don't worry about doing it soon. Take as much time as you need. I should be a little less busy now, as I finished Hamlet, and the psychology stuff, great. Just got 2 novels to get through, but I'm more than halfway through one. Roots? No. Trunk is the word I was looking for. Trunk. A tree's trunk. But yeah, I'm happy for you. Right. And I do realize that this is quite the bit of effort to go to, simply for this little area here, but it's a very unique area on this route, so I can justify putting this much time into it. Besides, I do need to cover up that little area back there. Oh, by the way, has the work you're sending me got a name yet? Or a planned name? Or unless you wrote... Wait, didn't you... No, I don't think you said that it didn't have a name. Unless I missed it. Is branded Swidar Gaming? No. Branded is not Swidar Gaming. They're 2 different people. Yep, it does. A Clash of Styles. Or maybe Clash of Styles. Oh, interesting. Sounds like a book about fashion. Maybe that's what it is. I haven't read it yet. I'll just quickly reload the page to see if the list updates. That's okay. Good. Okay, so I'll just move this a little bit closer, like that. And yeah, I think that covers up that little gap there fairly well. I should really plant bushes all along here. Okay, why not? I'll do it. I'll do it. I mean, I'll need to do it eventually. It's just so that it looks the same all the way along. I don't need to make them as dense as over there, but I still need to plant them. Oh right, no, that one. It is the right one. It was just a bit lower down than I thought it would be. And yes, I have seen that the ballast is kind of poking through the wall, and I will fix that as soon as I've placed those shrubs. Taken from the name of the main character, Jonathan K. Stiles. Oh, Jonathan K. Stiles. And also how a pivotal point where him and his recruits, little hint there, have a heated disagreement about their work. Oh, sounds interesting. I love it when you get the point. When you get to the point, the title of a book makes sense. I love it when you get to. Oh right, whenever you get to the point. Yeah, that is always that is always a thing to strive for. Jonathan. I'm always misspelling that. Jonathan. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to place one or two more objects over here. Maybe a bit lower in the ground. So just sort of like that. Might do the same on the other side of the tracks, actually, thinking about it. And then I need to move this just a little bit further in so that it's not clipping through the wall. Okay, now I'll just put down some more of the other kind of shrub, just to break it up a bit, because this way it kind of looks a bit too uniform, if you know what I mean. Tell you what, the laptop's on, so I'll email it to you now. Don't worry about reading it soon. Do it when you have the chance. I'm thinking a sci-fi, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, you're only making it more interesting. Which is not a bad thing. Yeah, thanks. Yes, I will read it as soon as I can get the chance, basically. Okay. So that's good. This is still a bit obvious. I think I need to paint some more gravel down here to kind of hide this edge a bit. Like this, kind of. I think that looks good. What about this side? I mean, it would look better if they had shadows, because like this, it just looks really strange. But shadows don't work for me some of the time, as you know. Yeah, some shadows don't work for me. But I think that looks good. Maybe some more down here, actually. Just sort of like this. Oops. Oh, still oops. This way around. Sort of like that. Maybe a bit lower. Okay, now over here. I think that should be fine like that. I get a lot of inspiration from my books. I get a lot of inspiration for my books from my gaming, and thus was the case with this one. Was mildly inspired by the setting and style of the PS2 game Extermination. Oh, I've never heard of that. By the sounds of it, it sounds like a Dalek game. Might have a look at what that is a bit later, so I can see where the inspiration came from. Interesting. Right, I think that looks good. It isn't too obvious that there's a spline here. Yes, a bit, but not too obvious, I think. Okay, now I just need to finish... Wait, did I actually finish drawing in the forest texture? I've not got too far into it. Not played on PS2 in a while. Sent it to you. Great, thanks. Yes, so... Now I think I did paint... here is a little area. Right. Okay, so I'll paint this little area here, and then I'll put in the forest on the other side of the valley, of the canyon, in a way. Let me just reload the page, in case Squidar Gaming's here and I don't know about it. No, according to the users in chat view, not at the moment. Right. So this... There are some trees on the rocks there. Sounds like an alcoholic beverage. Trees on the rocks. I think that's okay. Maybe a little forest underneath that. Right. So now there's just this little area, because back there I did paint it already. Sent to you and waiting for the scolding series of notes to come, as did with the journey. Might change it to the journey. Well, I think scolding's a strong word. It was just some notes that I had. I think critique is a better word. Creative critique. No, not creative critique. Constructive critique. That's the wording that I would like to use for that. Yeah. But yes, I will send notes. I will send notes. I mean, the thing is, I'd rather send more notes than you really need, and you just ignore some of them, the ones that you don't like, rather than not mentioning things that spring to mind that you might find interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your book. You can do whatever you want with it, and that means that you can obviously use my notes to whatever extent you wish. You can you can religiously deal with each one and change the book to fit each individual note, or you could ignore them or use anything. Basically what I'm saying is that you will use your own judgment, so I'd rather send more notes that might be useful rather than leaving things out that you would have found helpful. Yes. You probably know what film this is from. Scotch on the Rocks. And I mean ice. Not really sure. It sounds like a line from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but that's probably not right. Please let me know what it is actually that you're referencing. Yeah, I get you. Did you say that you tried your hand at writing a while ago? I wrote a prologue for a story, which I might still write. I mean, I probably will actually write. But at the moment, I've just got so much to do with releasing Living Art and the Trainz route, and also working on the other projects, like for example Gale Rock Lighthouse and all that sort of thing, that I haven't really had a chance to sit down and actually start to write that. Well, yes, I did start to write that prologue, and also, of course, the script to Bootstrap, which you obviously know about. Yes. Yes, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Oh, I was right! Apparently toons have trouble with metaphors. Who knew? I'm actually surprised that I got that. You know, the thing is, I thought it was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but then I thought, oh, it sounds too serious for that movie, but I'll say it anyways, and I was right. Did not expect that to be right, but yeah. I haven't seen that film in quite a long time, actually. Although I do have fond memories of it. Reminds me of a line in Guards. Two guards are busy arresting someone, and the captain goes, "Throw the book at him, carrot." And then dwarves have trouble with metaphors. They also have a very good aim. Oh, right. I see, yes. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was based on a book. Yes, I think I heard that somewhere. And yes, I am placing the trees in such a way that they are going over the rocks and into the river. As usual, I'll go over and delete the ones that don't fit after. Did I tell you about raising steam? It sounds familiar. I think you mentioned it, but I don't really remember what it was. So please, tell me again. Just make sure I am still on the root layer. I wouldn't really want to place all this in the session layer. I mean, what I would have to do is then merge the session layer into the root layer. And then basically, well, first of all, delete all the trains, then merge it. Yeah, but that is still a bit of trouble to go to. Oh, by the way, from before, the story that I wrote the prologue for, it is a sci-fi story. I do have a name for it. I don't know if I'll change it. It's called Message to Mars Received. Yeah. I am back, waves. Hello. Welcome back, Slovak. How did the hide and seek turn out? It was really funny, intense, and hard. Yeah, I mean, but then again, a lot of things that are funny are. So, yeah, I'm glad it was so much fun. It's a book by Terry Pratchett, and it's a fantasy book built around the advancement and technological evolution of rail travel in the Discworld, which is on the back of 4 giant elephants, which are on the back of a giant turtle. Oh, that actually sounds really interesting. Oh right, raising steam, I get it now. Actually, I will make a note of that, because that does sound interesting. You can hear the sound of paper tearing. Okay. I got caught both times. Right, yeah. Okay. Hi Slovak. You have no idea the kind of conversation you've come back to, man. Ooh, I like that hillside, it looks so good. Yes, it does, and I haven't even deleted the trees on the rocks yet. And the Discworld is, of course, flat. Yes, of course it is. Well, I will know the conversation once it is on YouTube. Yes, if you want to check out what you missed. It's quite a funny book, and dwarves are taking the mick out of quite a bit. I see. I think world on the back of 4 giant elephants on the back of a giant turtle is the thing that's going to confuse you the most. Why? Because it's unrealistic or illogical? Because the thing is that even though my usual logical way of thinking about things doesn't necessarily mean that I'm incapable of accepting something that's as illogical as that might be. I quite enjoy thinking about those kind of things. 2 dwarves is an argument. 3 dwarves is a war. Ah, right. Well, oh, is that where that quote comes from? I've heard you say that a few times, actually. I meant Slovak. No, because it's a... Oh, right, you meant Slovak. Oh, of course you did. No, because it's a world on the back of 4 giant elephants on the back of a giant turtle. Nuff said. I get what you mean. Although that is quite similar to, I think, Norwegian mythology, well, religion back when it followed religion, where you've got the world tree that rests, where the roots of the world tree are entangling this giant wolf, and you've got, of course, the world serpent that encircles the world, that's eating its own tail, I think. Which is, I think, kind of similar to that then. Maybe that's where they got the inspiration from. Yes. It is impossible to accommodate everyone and twice as impossible to please all the dwarves. Yeah, I mean, that it is, I mean, yes, it is generalization, but generalization can have its place if used properly, and it's not meant in a malevolent way. Three dwarfs having a reasonable conversation will always end up having 4 points of view. Oh really? Only 4? I would have thought at least 9. With any conversation, really. Not necessarily dwarfs. What country did you say the myth was from? Norway. You know where the Vikings are from, the Norwegian mythology. Yeah, I mean, I'll just save. Maybe I can show you what I mean. I think this... Norse mythology. In North, this one. Yggdrasil is the one. The world tree. And yes, you can indeed see the serpents circling around it. This one doesn't have the wolf in the roots, this depiction. But I know that in some stories there is a wolf ensnared by the roots. But yeah, here. Yggdrasil. There we go. Another great Pratchett quote: "The female mind is a complex one. Of course it is. It has to deal with the male one." Well, technically not untrue. Yeah, I thought that was it. Norse mythology and all of that. Yeah, I've seen and heard of those kind of things. Oh, you have the train video on there. Oh, that one, yes. I watched some of the other one, and I was just bit in that one. Yes, you're right. Not going to lie, that would be quite cool to look up and see. Yes, you're right. No, not complex, devious. Oh, devious. My fault, the quote is devious, not complex. Right, I see. Yeah, I mean, that is... I mean, that quote... I mean, in and of itself, I mean, if you can read that or listen to it and understand the context of it and appreciate it for what it is. However, I think that in the modern Western society, that quote could easily be seen as sexist, and then you could be seen as sexist for saying it, even though it is... First of all, it's a quote of someone else saying it. Second of all, it's harmless. I mean, there's... Yeah, exactly. It's taking the mick out of men. Yes, you're right. It is... It's a harmless thing. It's just... Yeah, but... I really don't want to get into that, because it is really quite annoying, to say the least. If not... slightly infuriating. And it's a man doing it, so it's allowed. Yeah, but that is... I mean, that just goes to show you how ridiculous that all is. Why can't you just say something and have it be listened to for what it is, instead of getting hung up in political correctness and all of that? Because the thing is, if one person says a sentence, and that person is, for example, in the thing that you just said, you said it's a man saying it, so it's allowed. Wouldn't it? Okay, if you, okay, let's just accept the political correctness of that, but then wouldn't it technically also be sexist if you said that it's allowed if a man says that quote because it's taking the mick out of men, but not be allowed if the exact same word, sentence, and meaning was said by a woman? That, yeah, it's just, yeah, it is just really, really annoying. but I really don't want to get into that as well, because I mean, we can, if you want to, we can, but I'd like to talk about things that are fun at the moment in the stream, because that's what, well, one of the main reasons why I do the stream, because it's fun, and I know that you do have to talk about things that aren't fun, and that is important, because if you didn't, then you would quickly lose all control over not only your life, but also the lives of others, if you don't talk or think about those kind of things. But I don't really think that this stream is the place for it. As in a man taking the mick out of a man, yes. And it's meant as a comedy quote. Yes, I know it is, and I can see the comedy in it. And I'm fine with that. I mean, it's not a sincere thing that person thinks that one gender is devious or the other gender is controlling. And while those kind of things can be true, that is due to culture. If children learn that kind of behavior from their parents or from TV or from wherever, then that kind of generalization can be useful. But yeah, I can see the comedy in it and appreciate it for that without going into the political correctness of it. I mean, if it was the other way around, I certainly wouldn't be offended. I think that a lot of people are just way too touchy with being offended by things that aren't completely politically correct. After all, sticks and stones. As in the author is a man and saying that women's minds need to be complex and such to deal with the men. Yes, I understand the quote. Yeah, that's a fair point. In that case, changing the subject. Found any more cute locos? I did. Well, if you want to see cute locos, I'd suggest looking up the Trainz railway in Wales. Well, you can look it up wherever you are if you've got internet access, but the railway that's in Wales, because there are a lot of really cute locos on that. It's a narrow gauge railway. I feel like Slovak is just watching this unfold and just eating popcorn. Politics of Pratchett sounds quite good. Yeah, I can see that. As for learning from TV, don't get me started on reality TV. Alright, I won't. Alright, and that's where we're going back into the other area. Just let me save. Hopefully it won't crash. Thank you. No problem. I am listening to the stream while browsing Reddit and chatting with my friends. Lol. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Although if you're on that much of a delay, I would suggest that you maybe pause the stream and then unpause it to kind of catch up, because, as you know, Twitch does accumulate its delay. So the longer you're watching a stream, the more delay there will be until you pause and unpause the stream or reload the page or whatever. I heard cute locos, and then I heard my name, and I also heard narrow gauge in there, so my attention got instantly here. Yes, I was talking about the Trainz railway in Wales. Let's see if I can remember how to spell that. Like that? Or is it two? Oh, it's with two Y's, right. They've got locos like this, for example, and they've got really, really old locos running on that as well. For example, this is a picture of one of the locomotives from 1895, right here. But some of the other ones, I think, oh, where is it? And yes, this is what the Thomas and Friends railway is based on, the narrow gauge one. They've even got a whole... basically, they... what he did was he took the locomotives from the Italian Railway and put faces on them. Legitimately, there are... most of those locomotives are still in service on the Italian Railway, working that line, looking like this. Also, right, Fairley's Little Wonder, that locomotive, I think, still there as well. Not sure about that, though. Multitasking, yes. I have 2 to 3 seconds delay. Oh, well, that's okay then, that's not too bad. How did you hear it? It's via typing. Oh, right, never mind. He said it, lol. Oh, I see. Pausing stream for a sec. Okay, that's okay. Yeah. You remind me of something. I need to look at that over on this side. I'm preparing to be shocked. Oh, that, yes! I've seen that. Oh, wow. Oh, those are nice. Oh, that is really, really nice. Thanks for posting that. What do you look for in a loco? An engine. Good response. Yes, definitely an engine. Yes. Yeah, well, okay, but a serious answer, because that's what we're here for after all, seriousness. Well, it depends on the gauge, first of all, that the loco is the right gauge for what I need. And then, of course, there is the time period in which whatever I need the loco for is set in, so if the loco fits in that. And then, of course, whether the paint scheme that the locomotive is in fits with the paint, sort of the colors that I'm using in the route, if I'm looking for a locomotive for a route. If not, then I'm looking for whether the author allows reskins for that locomotive. And then, of course, sounds. Sounds are another big one. The locomotive has to sound good, and also, of course, work in cab mode in trains. And also an interior, a cab interior would be nice, a custom one. So yes, that's what I'm looking for in a loco, at least in trains. Some sort of weird loco dating site. You mean like for modern Thomas and Friends, when the locomotives are going around with their mobile phones out, looking for dating sites? A steampunk dating site. Ugh. Can you imagine that, though? I sent that video link to your Discord too. Oh, right. I'll have a look at that in full later on a bit. Thanks. No! Do not ruin my childhood. No. Do not ruin my... okay, this is funny. Yeah. No! Do not ruin my childhood. Yeah. Well, sometimes it's important to get perspective on things that are part of your childhood for you to more probably be able to understand them. Oh, watch this. Just kidding. Okay. Child? Who? I dare not. Yeah. Although if you think about Thomas the Tank Engine and the things that go on there, I mean, even if you think about what it actually means, if you don't take it at face value, if you look just a little bit into it, it gets quite grim and dark quite quickly. So if you value your innocent memories of Thomas the Tank Engine, I suggest you do not do that. is probably the best way of saying that. Yes. Let me just save again. And he's going to ruin my childhood anyways. Can you give any examples? If you don't want that part ruined, unless you can... I mean, the thing is, people talk often about something is now ruined for them, but if you've got... it doesn't take that much mental capacity to look beyond those kind of things and just enjoy it for what it is. I mean, you can get your innocent view on things back, unless it's something really, really disgusting, like maybe how a lot of the candy is made, like the things basically ground up bones and the slaughterhouse and things like that. But with things like just with Thomas the Tank Engine, I think it's not that big of a problem. So are you sure that you want some examples of that? Because I'd be more than willing to give them. Do you want examples of how Thomas the Tank Engine is very dark, if you think about it, and actually quite disturbing? Do you? I'm asking you. Do you want the examples? I would be more than happy to comply. Yes. I sound really old. I remember when their mouths didn't move when they spoke. Yes, those were the good old days of Thomas the Tank Engine. Because back then it had charm. Now it just feels like a money grab that's not even that well made most of the time. At least with in terms of CGI. Well, as the RP guys have said, they've corrupted me, so you may as well tell me I like theories. Go on, then. You make me feel bad about this. But if it is your wish, then so be it. So, okay, the first thing to understand is that the engines are, well, they're sentient. They're living beings, and yet they are clearly owned by a company and are forced to work. If they don't work, then they are punished. For example, Henry being literally buried alive in his tunnel, only being able to see other trains enjoy relative freedom, while he was stuck in there pondering what disobedience means. Yeah? And if engines don't work enough, then we can often see them being scrapped, which means killed. I mean, if the engine is alive, if it's literally being melted down, then that clearly kills the engine. And you can see it because you can see it in quite a few characters, like for example Edward in one episode where he thinks he's going to be scrapped, or the steam tractor. I think what was his name? I can't remember his name. Yeah, when he thought he was being scrapped, he was terrified, as well as Stepney, who was only just rescued before being scrapped, before being killed, for not being able to work as efficiently as the company wants the engine to. So, in my books, if a living thing is being owned by something and forced to work, then in my books that's slavery. So if you think about it, Thomas and his friends are in slavery, and the thing is they don't know any better. For them it's normal, and so you can clearly see them being happy and racing around their railway, working, because for them that's their normal life. But yes, if you think about it, that is exactly what it is. And there are no laws on how these living things, these living beings, can and cannot be treated. So anything could be done with them, and there would be no law on their side protecting them, as far as we know, because it is, after all, based upon real railways. Which means that they would have no hope of freeing themselves, because nobody would be on their side. And yes, the Fat Controller is portrayed as being nice, and he is nice in a lot of the cases, and most of the time. But the thing is, he owns the railway. He is the one who makes the decisions. He's the one who ordered Henry, who essentially acts like, has the... Because the thing is, all of the Thomas engines seem to have the mental state of a child. Yeah? They seem irresponsible a lot of the times, or they don't really think that far ahead. They are playful, they like to play tricks, that sort of thing. They seem like children. And then when one of them is afraid of the rain, like Henry, and he decides to stay in a tunnel for a bit because he doesn't want to get wet, then instead of that living thing being treated with respect and love and care, like for example, someone explaining to Henry that the rain is actually nice and that it's actually not that bad and something like that, what does the Fat Controller do? He tries to get him out by force, and when that doesn't work, he punishes that being with a childlike mental state by literally imprisoning it alone in a tunnel, only left to ponder its mistake and realize that punishment is very severe where it lives. Yeah? So... yeah, and it just goes on and on and on and like that if you think more about Thomas and Friends and what it actually would mean, and well, does mean, but I think that's enough. I think that's enough about that. And the thing is that it's not meant to be thought about that much. It's just supposed to be a fun series to watch, and I can look beyond that. I can watch Thomas the Tank Engine things and enjoy the well, not so much now with the modern ones, because the stories aren't that great with most of them, and there are a lot of errors in CGI, but I can enjoy it for what it is, and not let these things, these truths about it, stop me otherwise enjoying it. Basically, that's what I'm saying, because after all, it is only a story. It's not meant to be thought about that much in that great detail, so you can look beyond it in that case. And I haven't read the chat in quite a while, so I need to read quite a lot of it. Oh god, here we go. I'm just going to stop this here. Oh, plop this here, sorry. What is this? Oh, trains under the mountains. Oh, that's gorgeous scenery. Oh, wow. That is really, really nice. Thanks for posting that, Slovak. Sips tea. Is it something about the darkness in Thomas? No, it's beautiful scenery and Slovakia with trains. Yes. Thanks for brightening the place up. I'll be honest, I don't remember those episodes. There was like 6 or 7 lightning strikes outside my window just now. Holy cow of Saint Cloud. That was some blue light. Wow. It must have been a long time, because I think I would have remembered those if I saw them even remotely recently. Trust me, those episodes are in there. A lot of them are very, very early. I mean, all of the ones that I just referenced are all from the original series. So yes, a lot of the early ones. I don't remember any episodes from Thomas the Tank Engine. I stopped watching Thomas the Tank Engine because I got bullied in school for liking trains. Oh, that's horrible. Watch yourself. We have an apocalypse on our hands. Oh, Slovak. That's so cruel. So sorry you had to go through that. Yes. So that is how I became a closed kid with no social life, playing games all day long. Well, you have a virtual social life, which obviously doesn't replace the actual thing, but to me you sound kind in most cases. It's fine. You poor little eagle. It got good at middle school, American high school. Oh, right. Oh no, American high school. Yeah, I see. Okay. I'm now going to high school/university. At least I found people who are nice and like Trainz. Yes. For me, it replaces the actual thing quite a lot. I feel accepted somewhere, finally. Yeah, I mean, that's good. That is good. And I can see how through social media it does feel like it replaces the actual thing a lot. But the thing is, a lot of the actual communication is not through the words we type or say, but through facial expressions, body posture, that sort of thing. And a lot of that is lost, obviously, in social media, which is why I obviously do still definitely prefer the real thing. But yes, I can see how social media could be very helpful in that situation. I went through that, but it was mostly because I just couldn't make friends. Gaming, one of my forms of escapism. Yeah, I see. And even if some friends don't like Trainz, if they're worth their salt, they won't take the mick out of you for it. Yes, I agree with that. I definitely do agree with that. Yeah, true. Yes. Wow, we got kind of deep recently in the stream. Kind of a new place to be for the streams. My recent classmates are mostly nice, so I do sometimes spend some time with them. Well, that's nice. That's really nice. Deep water, lol. Yes, yeah, that's true. Oh, right, water. I read that as water, and then your correction prompted me to look more closely at what you had originally written, which is why I only noticed that you'd written water in the first place. Yeah. Right. So, how does this look now? I still have a lot of trees to delete, but it's looking quite good. Oh, also, Slovak, right. I did some more work on this little retaining wall area here. I did put down the beton here, and yes, it does fit quite well. I've put down some shrubs over here to kind of hide this little edge in here. And I know it would look a lot better if they had shadows, but for some reason, as you know, some shadows are broken for me. But I think that's good. Water, yes. I can't wait to go off to uni if that's what it's like. Apparently, people actually invite you over to their group if you're set on your own. Well, yeah, although the thing is with universities that mobile phone radiation can be a hazard, because universities, any type of school really, is a hotspot for concentrated wireless activity, especially with the new 5G being rolled out in a lot of universities. So that is definitely something that I would be wary of. But I don't know what your views are on that specific subject. And you don't have to type it in chat if you don't want to. It's just something that came to my mind. That is quite some deep power there. Yes, it is. And wow, I didn't realize how bleak that sounded. Yeah, sometimes things that you say out loud or type in chat sound differently than what you actually meant them to sound like. Oh, that is nice. It works, Paradise. I think it looks good. Thanks. What is? The people inviting you to their group? Yeah, it shows that someone wants to spend time with you. Yes. I only use Wi-Fi. I don't use 4G because I'm not paying for it. Well, yeah, that's good. Although recently, some new Wi-Fi has been rolled out somewhere, which is using the what is it? What was it? I think 60 gigahertz frequency. I think it's 60 gigahertz. I might be mistaken. It's definitely 60 something frequency, which has also been documented to cause severe both physical and mental issues. So yeah, I would also be careful with Wi-Fi. Not to whine, but not something that I've had a lot. Well, I have old phones and I don't sit on it all the time. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Then, oops, and it crashed. Well, I think I saved quite recently. Just waiting for the crash message to come. If it does come. Oh, there it is. Good. I have 4G and all other connections. Quite cheap provider, so I'm happy for that. Yeah, I get that the download speed is nice. But I personally would rather use Ethernet rather than wireless, simply because of the health implications that has. Yeah. I usually have something playing on it, and I listen to it on YouTube. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's okay, I think. Okay. Yes, not that much is gone. That's good. Wi-Fi over Ethernet has no health implications whatsoever. However, Ethernet connection or cable connection is faster and more reliable than Wi-Fi. It is definitely faster. Definitely faster than Wi-Fi and more reliable. So that is a good point. As for the health implications, that is, I think, debatable, and that is a debate that I would love to have sometime, because it just depends on your sources. There are because of the internet, there are so many things out there that aren't true, so many things that might be true, that you do have to be careful with what you listen to and how seriously you take things. But I would suggest at least keeping an open mind about about all information, really. It doesn't have to be about the implications of wireless communications. It could be about anything, really. It could be about space travel and what forms of locomotion are feasible or viable. Like, for example, the Orion drive, which is basically a huge spring with a thin sheet of lead underneath, where a little nuclear bomb is dropped through a hole in the middle, then detonates, pushing the plate up, compressing the spring, thus catapulting the spaceship forward. Which was actually, there were some tests done with that quite a long time ago. I think maybe in the 50s. Maybe in the 50s. But which obviously has health concerns because of the radiation that's released from it, which is why research on it has been stopped, which I think is a wise choice. But it is an interesting thing. Ethernet sounds really cool, like a shady company in a movie. You're right, it does kind of sound like that. That sounds awesome! Well, if you think about it purely from what is actually happening, like a craft that is being propelled through the power of nuclear weapons detonation or nuclear warhead detonations through a spring-powered mechanism, and that thing is supposed to travel through space, then I can see how that sounds awesome, until you think about the actual health implications and the damage that that radiation could cause, not only to the people inside, but also to the atmosphere and things like that. But I see what you mean. My source is school textbook. I am electrician, but the middle school I went to has 2 courses in the last grade. One is telecommunications and other is industrial programming. I went on programming, but my best friend had telecommunications. They had all the stuff about internet. I would be careful about school textbooks, because even though you would think that school textbooks would be the thing that is correct, because that's where the younger generations learn, most of the younger generation learn the things from. A lot of the school textbooks are actually incorrect, and that is that's not even a theory, that is fact. A lot of the subjects, for example, what was it? Right, for example, here's one. Christopher Columbus, yeah? The guy who discovered America. I can almost guarantee you that in school textbooks about that, you will find written that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Yeah? In some of them, you might even find written that Christopher Columbus believed that the Earth was round, whereas everybody else believed that the Earth was flat, and he wanted to prove it. Whereas actually, it was already commonly accepted that the Earth was in fact round. Actually, the thing is that Egyptians found that out before the birth of Christ, that the Earth was round, before year 0. They had proven it in Alexandria. It was common knowledge. Yeah? It did get lost at some point, but by the time of Columbus, it would have already been common knowledge. The second thing is, Christopher Columbus did not discover America. He was not the first European to discover America. First of all, I mean, if you look past the fact that people who were living there technically had already discovered it, if you look beyond that, the Normans, the Vikings, the Normans, discovered America. We've actually found artifacts, so like helmets, weapons, coins, in America that date back from the years of the Vikings. That is scientific fact. It's been proven, it's been documented. That is our understanding of who first discovered America, the Vikings, the Normans. And yet in most school books, I can almost guarantee that it still states Christopher Columbus discovered America. So yeah, I would definitely at least look at other sources than school books. Sorry to go on that tangent, but misinformation and the spread of it, how insidious it is a thing that I tend to react quite passionately about. So yeah, about that. Right, catching up on chat. I just hoped that it goes boing as it springs. I mean, it might. Normal phone call is more dangerous than internet because calling more can cause brain cancer. Yes. Also, if you keep the mobile phone on and in your pocket, that's directly, I don't really want to go into that at the moment. Then internet, yeah. Oh yes, I remember in physics they taught us that the second most recent theory about atoms, and didn't teach us the most recent and most accepted theory. Yes, another example. I know, however, these textbooks are not official government approved, but a cooperation of teachers from different schools. Not official government approved. All right. from schools because the government would take too long to approve them, and by the time they would be obsolete. Yeah, exactly. Vikings discovered America first, and Columbus thought it was pear-shaped. Yes, also, here's the thing I read in several historical documents about history. Christopher Columbus, to the day that he died, believed that he had found the east coast of Asia, which is what he was originally looking for, a shorter route to Asia, even though people knew the Earth was round and that going that way around would be much longer to get for tea trade, or not tea trade, spice. What's spice? Basically, trade with Asia. The world. I mean, he's ranting now. I am a bit. Well, as long as we get it right for the exam, and we're not intended to go into the field as a job. Yeah, exams, definitely another thing that I've got quite passionate opinions about. Because if the exam is examining how well you learn the thing from the textbook and not how much you actually know about the subject or how true your information is or where your sources are, then that system leads... I mean, it's almost impossible for misinformation to not become trained into children and young adults and adults with that system. Oh, anyway, the stream. Right, we've gone past 11 o'clock already. So I will just quickly read the chat, but the stream's over. I keep the phone in my school blazer pocket. If it's turned off, then that's fine, but if it's turned on, I would rather turn it off, if you can at all. Second, not first. Oh, right, I see. They mentioned it, but for the exam they taught us the second. Oh, right. I think it was a new passage to India, rather than Asia. Well, India is in Asia. It's a subcontinent of Asia. After all, it is the Indian subcontinent rather than the Indian continent, because the continent it's on is Asia. Oh god, I forgot about your thoughts on that. Don't worry, I don't trust textbooks too much. I trust the experience of the old teachers who were in that school. They all are qualified electricians and so on. Yeah, I mean, experience does often speak louder than words. So they are all going by their experience. Technically, India has its own tectonic plate. Yeah, but it is still a subcontinent, at least officially. Anyway, right, stream's over. We've already gone 4 minutes past. So I definitely need to stop the stream now. So goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Next stream on Thursday. So bye.